Welcome back to Death Before Booze. Thank you for coming back. I'm Sam.
I'm Jen.
Hi, Jen. And this is episode 50. 50. We did it. Hope you like all 50 episodes. Yep.
This is insane. Like 50 episodes. We're like we're halfway to 100.
Yeah, we're halfway to 100.
Almost at the start of our first year anniversary.
Yeah, oh my gosh, it's so funny that we're like at 50 when there's 52 weeks in a year, because really then we would be closer, but we like released 3 episodes.
We released 3.
Mm-hmm. Actually on Podbean Net, what the fuck do we use? Whatever we use. The other day it was like congratulations on however many episodes, 50 episodes, because we released a whole bunch of like 2 or 3 episodes for DB Squared Day. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. So I had to like go back through everything and figure out where I fucked up, and that I didn't fuck up. We did extra things.
We added extra episodes.
Yeah, we give you nice things. So, yay! But now we're at 50 actual episodes. 50. Yep. So crazy. And yeah, we're gonna have to plan something like kind of big for like our 1 year.
I know.
I don't know what to plan.
Tell us what to do.
Oh my god, yes, please somebody tell me what to do.
You want to give away? Do you want to question and answers? What do you want?
I could do an Ask Me Anything.
I don't think we could do.
We could do
Ask Me Anything. We could go live on like Instagram or something. Anyway,
one of those. We could do that. We could definitely
tell us what. Ask Me Anything. I love that.
You
like
tell me whatever.
That'd be fun.
Do whatever you want. It's so easy.
Okay. Tell us what you want.
I have a new game I play. Do you want to hear about my new game? I'm very
sure
all over the place. So it was as we're recording this, last weekend was, what is that called? Labor Day weekend, and I went camping. And my favorite thing to do when we go camping is play airplane or UFO. And then I sit there when like we watch the band at the campground, or like we're just hanging out at night. And I look up and I stare up, and my game is I pick out the airplanes and the satellites and I wait for a UFO. And I've yet to see one. But I think, what was it? Saturday night, I had like 8 airplanes and 7 satellites that I saw. So this is my new favorite game that I play when I go places at night.
What? I like that.
Yeah.
It's nice.
And it would kind of be really good for our topic today, because today's topic is cruising, or like we're going on a cruise, like something to that effect. Like imagine being out on the water, all the satellites and airplanes, and like how dark it would be. You could see everything.
The ocean is scary. I don't like it, and it's fine.
I specifically did not pick a case that had something to do with like not good things. Well, I
sure as hell did.
I gotta be honest, there's all not good things in mine. But it's not like somebody got murdered and thrown overboard. So
okay.
I did that specifically so I would not get nervous about the cruise that I want to be thinking about planning for next year, that I have no idea how long I'm going away for, but I will figure it out.
Well, I go first, and I totally picked a case where it's like that,
so I'm definitely going to be terrified for going on a cruise, and you just saved Ken about $4,000. Congratulations.
To be fair, this is going to be a little different, and it's not normal things that happen, but it's bizarre. So I'm going to tell you the murder of Karen Roston.
Okay.
So let's talk a little bit about Karen. So she was originally Karen Waltz. Was 26, and she was employed as a masseuse in Florida. She was athletic, involved in dance, ballet, tai chi. She ran like 5 to 10 miles daily. Yeah.
She okay?
I gave up on running because it hurts a lot.
No, I just don't want to.
There's so many better things to do. So for all you guys out there who are like, I run, but I don't like it. Well, there's many things to do instead. Promise.
People who run and do like it, I'm proud of you. Congratulations. But
yeah, absolutely.
I am definitely going to look at you and go, are you okay? Every time you talk about it. Be like, you're good, though? Like, you blink twice if you need help. Like,
it's too much. My knees had to be iced. My back was hurting. I was like, this isn't for me. This is not for... This is for other people. Like, at 5 in the morning when when I go to the gym and I see other people running, like, that's for you. That's not for me. So
No. I don't like it.
she was involved in a lot of stuff. Yeah. So this is when she met Scott Roston. And this is kind of when things went a little wrong. To be fair, there's not a lot on her background and her family. There's just a lot of articles about this whole thing. So that's why I'm not really giving much than just kind of like the masseuse thing. Scott was from California. He was a chiropractor. He was also athletic, and he did some running. And then he got injured.
Oh, no.
He fell down some stairs.
That
So
sucks.
he needed to go to physical therapy, and this is where he met Karen.
Was he drunk?
So,
I fall downstairs.
you know,
when I'm
that's
drunk.
it wasn't it wasn't specified, but
You know, these are the details
Karen-
that people want. I'm just saying.
I don't-
Did he trip over the rug? Did the carpet monster get him, or was he drunk? Did he hiccup and miss a step? I need to know these things.
Yeah.
They probably don't tell you anywhere anyway. It's
No,
just
it
Sam
doesn't.
being
I'm
nuts.
sorry. I didn't. It just
I'm
said
sorry
he
I
fell
didn't-
downstairs and he had to go.
I'm sorry, Sam. I didn't spend another 4 hours researching to find out why the fuck he fell down the
Why
stairs.
did he fall down the stairs? I don't think I would have been able to find it anyway.
This whole
but
freaking
because
case that I'm going to tell you, and that's what you're worrying about. The
because this
ADT is
case
real.
happened in the 80s, so it was around the like mid 80s, so there's no way. Anyway, he had to go to physical therapy for two times a week. Karen was his masseuse, and so they started talking, they started dating, and everything was great. Scott was extremely cordial to her family, so he did visit them. He brought her mom flowers. He was very, like, a gentleman. But Karen's mom was like, there's something a little suspicious and too perfect about this situation. I don't know.
How perfect can
I
he be?
guess-
He falls down the stairs. We don't even know why.
When Scott did return to California, Karen would travel back and forth, so the two of them would see each other very often. They'd spend time together. Wonderful, beautiful. It's a long distance relationship, but you know what? They made it work.
Yeah.
After 10 months of knowing each other and dating, Karen and Scott got engaged.
Okay.
Okay. Like,
Okay.
all right.
Did they, like, live together at least at this point? Like, did we see each other take a shit? Okay.
No.
I don't love it as much anymore.
Yeah. Her friends and coworkers said they're a little concerned because they were like, this happened so fast. And her friend had said, quote, she definitely did love him. It was that. And the opportunity to have things she never had before money-wise, that attracted her. So Karen did love him. But the fact that he was a chiropractor, he made good money, like they could travel and do whatever, this definitely made her go, okay, like, I could be comfortable here. They're fine.
Yeah. I like you
Now-
enough.
Yeah. Karen went to live with him at this point. So she quit her job, went to California. Now, Karen had wanted to wait until June to get married, but Scott persuaded her to get married in February. So very quickly after they got engaged. And to go to Vegas in order to get married. Now, you had a wedding in Vegas, but
Oh,
that's
yeah.
not
It was
the wedding.
a lot of fun.
But that's not the wedding that he's talking about. It's a very quick wedding.
He wanted
which-
to elope.
okay.
Like, he wanted to go to,
Yeah.
like, the little
He
white
wanted
chapel.
to just like
Yeah.
exactly.
I get it.
They got married in Vegas February 4th, 1988, and they boarded the Sundancer cruise ship for their honeymoon 2 days later. Wonderful.
Yay!
So, February 13th. Okay, that's not too long after that.
Okay.
They're on the boat. Scott calls the authorities and says, this is at 3 a.m. that he calls the authorities on board. And he says, my wife has been blown overboard.
What?
Yeah.
By what?
Well,
Wait, what?
he said,
I think I
he
just
said,
had a moment. She blown over. She was.
yeah. Now,
She
he
was-
says the two
okay.
were having a run together,
Okay.
and the wind took her. I'm sorry.
The fuck, is she a plastic bag from a Katy Perry song? Like, what do you mean? Where did she go? Was she like, what? Like, okay, I'm a pretty large chick, you know, like I would not have that problem. I mean, runners, I guess, are thin. How windy like, was it a hurricane?
Well,
was it a tornado in the middle of the ocean?
You would think, because if he's saying it was the hard, fast winds that like just took her and flew her off the fucking deck, then something had to be awry. Well,
what about him? Did he almost fly off the boat? I'm confused.
The crew said the seas were running pretty smooth that night, and the velocity of the wind was not more than 5 miles per hour. So they're saying...
Was she a napkin? Wait, time out. Was this a real woman or was it a blow-up doll? Tell me the truth right now.
No, it's a woman. She was petite, but it wasn't enough for her to take her over the railing. That's like a... And it's not like it was like, whoa.
And 5 an hour per wind is going to pull a petite woman off of a cruise ship where the railings like come up to like, well, I mean, I guess they probably have changed.
Yeah, they're like 3
But
foot.
they go up to like your tits. Like, I mean, okay, if she's like 5'5", like that's, I'm 5'5". It comes to like my, like, I'm not blowing overboard. Even if I was petite.
So, I mean, so then Scott changed his story a little bit.
Okay.
He said
Pirates.
She fell.
Oh, now we're falling.
And he tried to grab her without success. So she's looking out into the scary ocean and then bends over the railing to, I don't know.
Was she trying to look at the propellers? Was she trying to look like in Titanic? I had to look at the propellers, so I had to lean really far over, and I slipped. And thank God Mr. Dawson was here to catch me. But wait, can we? I'm sorry, I was so blown away by the fact that she flew overboard. You're saying this happened at like 3:00 in the morning?
Yes, that's the other thing that's a little strange. I know people who go for runs at 4:30 in the morning, 5. 3 in the morning seems a little early to, on a cruise ship, on your honeymoon, okay, to get up and go. I get that you're athletic, okay. I get that you want to work out. I know. I did some hiking. I did some gym stuff on my honeymoon, but at 3 in the morning,
3 in the morning,
sleep.
On my honeymoon, I had better either be coming out of the club shit-faced or doing the nasty in my stateroom at 3:00 in the morning. Like, there's no, or I'm sleeping.
Go for a run.
Yeah, no, who's running? I'm running to the bar to get more booze.
And what are you looking for? So now if she did fall over, what is she looking at?
The propellers.
So now, Scott, are you sure about this story? Are you sure? Well,
I can't.
They bring him in to be questioned on the boat, and Scott changes his story again.
Okay.
Now this one's
the pirates.
Is a good one.
This one's the pirates.
You know what?
The aliens are here. UFO or airplane? I'm so ready.
So Scott wrote a book, okay, called Nightmare in Israel. And it's not an Amazon published book. It's an actual published book. He discussed his family's immigration from Israel. And he mentions a lot of not great things about the Israeli government and exposing crime. And he said that when he wrote this book a while ago, okay, he was almost kidnapped by 2 Israeli assassins because of what he wrote in the book. So, because of this book, Scott says he and Karen were attacked by Israeli assassins.
On a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean at 3:00 in the morning.
They found him and they were like, you know what? This guy in this book. So They knocked him unconscious, so he couldn't do anything to help her. And they killed Karen and threw her overboard. But he wasn't able to do anything to help her, and they might have drugged him. Or they're trying to frame him for the crime. That's a lot, Scott. That's a lot. That's a lot of stuff that you threw at the police there.
First, to
recap,
blew away. And he tried to catch her. Away. But that didn't work.
No, he didn't say he tried to catch her.
She just blew away.
She just blew away.
Then she...
Like a balloon.
Then she leaned over the rail too far and fell. And that's when he tried to catch her.
Yeah, he tried to grab her, but it didn't work. No.
And now Israeli assassins are targeting him for a book that he published.
Yes.
And this is their second attempt to kidnap him, but instead of kidnapping him, they killed his wife and threw her overboard.
They killed his wife and threw her overboard. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's pretty much sums it up.
I need no notes.
I can't come up with a better story than that. What's kind of confusing to the authorities, though, is that Scott had some scratches and gouges on his face. He says it's because he hit his head on the control box. Like, I guess going upstairs or through doors, there's a control box or something. But no hair or blood was found on this control box. And the control box doesn't have any, like, sharp things.
Why wouldn't you say the Israeli assassins did it as they were fighting with you? Like, make it sound good at least. Like, now you just sound like a pussy.
Now you just sound like you hit your head. And you're like, whoops. Oh, here the assassins are.
Oh, no, assassins.
I hit my head before the assassins. And it's like, he didn't quite have the story straight, it seems like. So he's a little fucked now because they said, are you sure it's the assassins now? And he's like, absolutely. And they're like, okay, well, what happened to you? And he's like, oh, I hit my head. You're right. Wouldn't you pull that assassin story out a little bit? No. He didn't. So.
He really needs to listen to our podcast more because I could give him a lot of really good pointers.
He just fucking went with it.
He went with the wrong thing, apparently.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, meanwhile, Karen's body, unfortunately, was found 30 miles southwest of San Diego. She was kept afloat because air was trapped in her clothes. This shows that she was unconscious when she entered the water, because if she had attempted to swim, so if she was thrown overboard and she was trying to swim, the clothes would have forced the air out. So it shows that she was unconscious when she entered. So her cause of death was drowning.
Oh no.
But there was hemorrhaging in her neck and her eyes. And she had like a warped neck bone, so it was very clear that strangulation. But
was that from the wind or the Israeli people? Did she get stuck by the propeller? I'm so confused. What the fuck is happening here?
This poor girl. She's on her fucking honeymoon. Like, fuck you.
She had to go for a run at 3:00 in the morning on top of all of it.
Right?
Ew.
You know that she didn't want that.
Your last thoughts are, I have to go for a run at 3:00 in the morning. Ew. Wait, awful. They probably weren't running, were they? He probably just killed her and threw her overboard, and I'm still sitting here thinking they were actually running.
You know what, though? Maybe he was like, let's go for a run, honey. And that's, you don't know. Because I don't understand his story. I don't
get it.
Any of them. Parts of her earrings were found on deck 11 feet from the railing with strands of her hair. So either he killed her right on the deck or he like dragged her and carried her out. I'm assuming it was right on the deck that he strangled her and threw her over.
I don't like him.
And she's so small too. She's very petite. So, So Scott was, needless to say, arrested and charged.
Ew.
But he kept holding on to that assassin story. He kept saying, no.
That's the one we stuck with. That's the one he stuck with.
I wrote a book. People got pissed. I was almost kidnapped. They found me. Okay. So the defense, of course, went, let's pull that out. So they noted that there were 2 Israeli men on board during the cruise.
Okay.
But when the prosecution looked into this, they brought one of the passengers on and asked him, what were you doing? And he's like, well, I was on board during the cruise, yes, but I was there as a wedding photographer. I was not there as an assassin.
Wow. Okay. So that happened.
So I feel like this is a little insensitive here.
On the night in question. Wait, and the night in question, at 3 o'clock in the morning, do we know what he was doing? Was he taking those pictures? Because, if it was an Israeli assassin, I'm sure he didn't go on and say, oh, yeah, no, I totally went on there to assassinate this human. I mean, I don't believe this guy's story for an instant, but I'm just saying.
But no, you're right. And honestly, cover story. I'm assuming his story about the wedding photography was pretty on base because, they probably interviewed many passengers on the board too, because a couple of guests testified there was a little altercation between Scott and Karen the night prior because she wasn't using the right utensils for eating, and she was eating too many sweets.
She was going for a run at 3 o'clock in the morning. Who gives a fuck what she was eating? You're on your honeymoon. I'm eating everything. Also, where's the chocolate buffet? I'm there.
I don't give a fuck what you tell me. I'm eating whatever I can.
It's one fucking week. What am I going to gain? Right? 4 pounds? 5 pounds? Most of it's going to be water weight from all the booze.
Not for nothing, but it is... This is red flag. Terrible
number 733.
Because Jesus Christ, she's using the wrong silverware. So you,
I'm so sorry. Why do you know what the correct silverware is? Who knows that?
Fuck yourself.
Who knows that anymore? You just start from the outside and work your way in. Right?
Exactly.
If this is the fork.
I forget what movie that was. I forget what movie that was.
You want to know what movie it's from? Titanic.
Oh, that's right.
Drop the mic. Why did I just cover the Titanic today? It would have been so much better. Anyway.
I mean, there are new newscasts about it lately, so.
Yeah, there's been a lot coming out. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, just start from the outside and work your way in. That's literally now, if the waiter doesn't take the right fork away, then that's on them. I don't care if I'm eating cake with a salad fork. It just means more fucking cake.
And bro, if your wife is eating sweets and you're going to be like, don't eat it, go fuck yourself. Go
Why
fuck
is
right
that
off.
What you're worrying about? I mean, happy wife, happy life. The more chocolate I eat and the happier I am, the more blowjobs you're going to get. So you think you can just be happier about it. I'm just saying. If you're going to be an asshole to me, you're not getting laid. Go fuck yourself. So you just ruined your own night on top of it. Hello? Can't. I don't like this guy.
Now, when this came up, though, and the passengers were saying, yeah, we overheard, they were kind of getting into a little altercation, the defense says, this could not be enough to provoke a reasonable or ordinary person to kill.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because he's not a reasonable and ordinary person. So, you're right. Normal people wouldn't have done this.
Wait, I'm sorry. You mean a normal person would not come up with 3 different stories beginning with my wife got blown overboard by 5 miles an hour per wind? You mean that's not where we started?
That's not
how this works?
Oh my God. So Scott was convicted of Karen's murder and he was sentenced to life, but because of appeals, it was eventually reduced to 33 years. So he is and was released July 2017. Mm-hmm.
Put him back.
I know. Now, his book is still for sale on Amazon because I looked at the comments because I just needed to. Upon checking the ratings, it's like a 3, but there are only 3 reviews.
One is
Two
his
of
mom.
them, right?
One is his mom.
Two of them are just people who are ranting about how much of a piece of shit he is because he killed his wife.
That's a good one.
And then one is just the dust jacket information. And it says this is just the back of the book summary. So, like, he doesn't... So, technically, it's a 1 star because those other 2 people were like, fucking don't buy this book. This guy killed his wife. What a piece of shit. And then the dust jacket review was 4 stars because, you know.
How much is this book?
It's unreasonably priced. It's like $20 plus. It's terrible.
So it's not even
don't
worth
buy
it.
this book.
I would say so it's not even worth it to buy it just to write really mean reviews about it.
Don't buy this book.
Do not buy the
F
book.
the patriarchy.
Fuck
and
that.
just don't kill people. So.
And don't go running at 3 o'clock in the morning and
Jesus
wear
fucking
weight.
Christ.
If you're that petite, wear fucking weights on your ankles so you don't get blown overboard. I cannot. What a horrible,
Isn't
horrible.
that great? Like that.
I mean,
what a fucking douchebag piece of shit.
Ew, I hate him. I don't like him at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, so he's currently out, and he's been out for many years.
is he still a chiropractor?
You know what? I really don't. If you get convicted of murder, can you I don't think that you would still keep your license and everything. I would assume not, but who the fuck knows?
I mean, you can be a felon and run for president, but you can't vote for president, so.
True. True story. For those of you guys not in the U.S., you just...
Stay wherever you are. Because this is just a dumpster fire right now.
And also, I know you're laughing at us because
Send
you
help.
all know.
Send help.
We're all laughing too.
It's easier to laugh than it is to cry. So I'm going to now cover the USS Hornet.
Okay.
Okay. So this is something that I've never really heard of. Well, first I was going to do the Queen Mary, and then I'm like, the Queen Mary is like huge and like
it's a lot. There's a lot of stuff.
And then I was thinking about doing the Titanic, and then I was going to bring it back to the Titanic Museum, which I think is in Missouri, that has lots and lots of fun hauntings because that's where a lot of their... Yeah. And then they also have the exhibition that travels all around the United States. I'm not sure if it's left the United States in a while, but like there's one in Vegas, there's one that travels, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to do all this. And then I was like, no. So then I put in ghost ships, and I learned a lot about like people just abandoning a ship and letting it kind of like float around in the ocean. And I ended up in this really weird tailspin at one point trying to understand how everybody can evacuate a ship and not tell anybody and just let it go. So that was a couple hours of my life that I won't get back. But then I found a ship with ghosts instead of a ghost ship. So that's how we landed on the USS Hornet. So the USS Hornet, and then there's lots of little letters that go with it, CV, CVA, CVS-12, is an Essex-class aircraft carrier built for the United States Navy during World War II. Okay, now there have been about 8 or 9 ships that have had the name USS Hornet prior to this, but they're all kind of different. So, like, I think one of them kind of turned into this CVS-12, but it, like, got, like, reformed and shit. I don't know. I'm sorry, naval stuff is not my forte. I'm just here. I'm here for the ghosts. Like, let's all be honest with each other. That's what I'm here for. So, the ship was assigned to the Fast Carrier Task Force in the Pacific Ocean. So, this is the Navy's primary offensive force during the Pacific War. So, in early 1944, she left Pearl Harbor. This is her inaugural, trip. And she participated in attacks on Japanese installations in New Guinea, Palau, and Truk, among others. So these were like the big battles that she was a part of. The Hornet then took part in the Mariana and Palau Island campaign, most notably the Battle of the Philippine Sea, which took place from June 19th to the 20th in 1944. This battle was nicknamed the Great Marinus Turkey Shoot, and basically because the Hornet was there, it rendered the Japanese Navy, like their large carrier fleet, defenseless. It took them out completely. So they really couldn't come back, and like their large carrier fleet, they like gone, decimated it. Like they had one or two, but they couldn't carry out any major activities anymore of warfare with these carriers because USS Hornet said, fuck you, we're not doing this anymore, you're done. Sit down.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool.
It's war, it's not awesome.
War is never fun, but like, you know, they took care of business. The ship also participated in the Philippines campaign in late 1944 and the Volcano and Ryukyu Island campaign in the first half of 45. She was badly damaged by a typhoon. So it took nature to take out the Hornet, not the war, in June of 1945 and had to be returned for repairs. After the war, she took part in Operation Magic Carpet, and this helped bring all the troops home after World War II. And then she was placed in the reserves in 1946. She had a little stint in the Korean War from 1950 to 53, but most of that she was spent like being modernized so that way she could handle like the new jet planes that were coming in and not just, you know, the little propeller planes that were used. And then she went through another remodernization in the 50s. She had a little tiny role in the Vietnam War, but like my favorite part is she was part of the Apollo program. So she actually went and recovered Apollo 11 and 12 astronauts when they returned from the moon. So that's like, you know, Armstrong and Aldrin, right? Yeah. Like she picked them up from like the middle of the ocean in their little carrier and shit. Wow. And I'll get to that in a second. She was finally decommissioned in 1970, June 26th of 1970. She earned 9 battle stars during World War II. She eventually is designated with both the National Historic Landmark in 1991, and she's also a California Historical Landmark that was bestowed upon her in 1999. She is currently open to the public as a museum in Alameda, California, and that opened October 17th of 1998. So the Hornet has been featured in a number of films and television shows. In 1997, she was the subject of an episode of, well, it was like a 3-part season opener for JAG, entitled Ghost Ship. In 2004, she was set for scenes from the movie Triple X State of the Union, which starred our buddy Ice Cube, because I love him. Portions of the 2007 film Rescue Dawn, starring Christian Bale, were shot on board. The Hornet was also the subject and setting of an independent film named Carrier in 2006. And the Hornet hosted the final task and finish line of the 13th season of the reality show The Amazing Race. Oh. So she's famous. Like, yeah.
Wow.
She also hosts Carrier Con, which is a fan convention for anime, video games, comic, and cosplay fans. And in 2023, CarrierCon collaborated with Azure Lane, which is a mobile game that features anthropomorphic ship girls, which includes the Hornet as one of their like characters.
That's very cool.
Cute, right?
Very neat.
Okay.
That's very neat.
So, super awesome. So now, like I said, this is a museum right now. So when you go there, you can see everything from all the wars, all the badges that she's gotten from the awards she's won. You can see actually stuff from the Apollo 11 and 12 missions, because like they have like their little capsule on board, and they have some of like the spacesuits and stuff that are all on there, and you can take a full tour. But they're also open for paranormal investigations because this place is haunted. So haunted. All right. So, during its tenure, the Hornet had its share of combat casualties, but it's estimated that the ship lost almost 300 plus sailors to accidents and suicides throughout its service. So that's not, you know, people dying during war. That's people on board had an oops or a I need to get off this ship moment. Meaning, even to this day, this ship had one of the highest suicide rates in the Navy. Yeah. So now the Hornet is considered the most haunted ship in the Navy currently, and it's also considered one of the most haunted places in America. So that means it's up there with, Savannah, Gettysburg.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's
paranormal,
crazy.
I thought the same thing, and that's why we're talking about it, because I was like, damn, I never even heard of this, and it's like one of the most haunted places in America.
That's
America.
insane.
So paranormal activity on the ship is said to be a mix of both intelligent spirits as well as residual or trapped energies, entities.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so it seems that visual phenomena is a common occurrence, meaning many on board claim to see light anomalies, shadow figures, and even full-bodied apparitions, ranging from sailors in their whites all the way to captains in full uniform. So you're seeing the whole gambit of anybody who's ever been on this ship. There is poltergeist activity that has been witnessed on board, items being moved or thrown, sometimes in excess of 5 feet. So if something's getting dragged across, we're talking 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 feet. Or they get thrown, a good distance. Hair is pulled or played with, especially because back in the day it was mostly guys. So when girls go on tours here,
of course,
they're like, "Oh shit, fresh meat. Hey girl, hey, how you doing?
Beautiful. You're so
Can I get your number? Can I get your digits?" Some even claim to hear and see doors opening and close on their own. Other activity included inexplicable noises, that's like the most commonplace thing. Like you'll hear footsteps, loud taps or movements, scuffling, even voices that are calling commands down the hallways. Weird. These voices have been captured as EVPs by investigators and have been heard through spirit boxes. Some have claimed to feel as though there is a presence following them throughout the ship. They feel as though they are being physically touched by someone who is not there. They have the sensation of someone getting into the same bed they were laying in. And I'll get into that a little bit. Or even as though someone was assisting them in the ship's medical bay, despite no one physically being there. So like I said before, this ship is open to tours, and it's also open to paranormal investigators for night tours. Mm-hmm. But as a museum, they open themselves up to an overnight thing where, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, school trips, they can go on for a night. Like they go during the day and they take the whole tour, they do the whole thing. And then overnight they get to sleep in the bunks and eat in the mess hall and see what it feels like to spend a night on one of these big carrier ships. And they'll show them like they have a flight simulator and they'll run them through different procedures that were done on board, so it's a really cute experience for, your little Girl Scout or Boy Scout troop who's like, yeah, we're going to join the military and yay, America. And then they come here and they're like, we did all the cool things. And then a ghost came out and went, boo.
Yeah. No, thank you. I'm good.
Yeah, that's how I feel. So one story, I have a couple stories about like what happened to people on the ship. And then I have, Caltech, like California Technology, Polytech, what is it? Mm-hmm. California Institute of Technology, like the real Caltech. They have a website where people just send in their experiences on this boat. Oh, I have a couple. We're gonna have fun. So, in general, an aircraft carrier is considered to be one of the 6 most dangerous places to work in the world. And now that I read that, I probably should have found out the other 5, but it's okay. So, the Hornet was powered by super hot steam that exceeded 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit. Sometimes the temperature in a room would exceed 125 degrees, causing crewmen to die from heat stroke. Okay? If a steam pipe ruptured, it would release an invisible stream of intense heat capable of killing soldiers instantly before they were even aware of what was happening. Their blood would instantly boil beneath their skin, causing their skin to fall off of their bodies. One crewman was walking into a room where one of these pipes had burst, and he didn't know it. So by the time he walked in, one of his arms was severed by the steam, like the jet of steam, causing his arm to, fall off. He started to bleed profusely. He passed out and then, bled to death. Fellow shipmates found him, and they discovered steam had boiled his blood and peeled his skin from his body. Now his ghost inhabits the room and sometimes is accompanied by engine sounds. So, you hear the pipe burst and him going in to, check out and be like, what was that noise? What's going on? And then you hear him get hit and fall to the ground.
I don't like that.
I don't like that. In World War II, the USS Hornet was in a battle near Japan. And in this battle, the Japanese were overtaken. So as a solution, kamikaze pilots were sent to crash onto the carriers. So, the Hornet. Don't land. Do not pass go. This is we're going full suicide. Take out the Hornet. One particular pilot missed the carrier completely and crashed into the sea. He was saved and then sent into a cell on the Hornet, where he spent the rest of his life. While living there, he went mad in his sail, and a month or so later, he died. He just went crazy. Mm-hmm. It's rumored that he still haunts the cell and has spent his life in there, unable to get out. And you can hear him talking to himself and banging against the walls for help. So those are two of the main stories that they tell on the tours. You can get a tour, like I said, it's open during select days during the week, mostly on weekends, and occasionally the ship will host special events where you can investigate the paranormal, but you can also set up your own group thing where you can stay overnight and do all those fun things. Right. So here we go. So here's the Caltech stories. And I'm literally going to read these because they're kind of creepy. So in February of 2009, I was volunteering on the USS Hornet with a group of my fellow U.S. Coast Guard guardsmen. We were painting a compartment, and a few of us were wearing white Tyvek paper suits. When you're painting, you don't want to get dirty. Mm-hmm. When our paint started running low, I went off in search of a Hornet worker that was supplying our paint. I got lost in the process. As I wandered the passageways, I came off a side passage onto the starboard main passageway, one deck below the hangar deck. I don't know what any of that means. I saw what I thought was one of my coworkers stepping off the main hall into a side passage about 25 feet away from me. I called out to him, but he kept walking, and when I got to the hall he stepped into, there was a chain blocking the entrance, and it was an empty compartment. Needless to say, I was confused, but kept walking and eventually found my way back to the room we were painting. When I saw the coworker I thought I'd seen earlier, I mentioned to him that I'd called him in the passageway, but he told me he hadn't left the room in at least an hour. Later, Later, when I mentioned this to the Hornet employees, one lady said that I had seen the dress white's ghost, apparently an apparition of a sailor wearing his dress white uniform. Okay, the next story. My husband and I went with my aunt to tour the USS Hornet. At the end of the day, when the tours were closing down, my husband drugged me off into a section of the ship that was obviously not open to tourists. The hallways were dark, the side rooms had bed frames just tossed into them, debris strewn all over like a trash heap. I was getting nervous we would either get lost or get into trouble for being in a section that was closed. Suddenly, a full uniformed officer came around the corner. I knew for sure we were in trouble. He walked past us. He never made any eye contact, no acknowledgement of our presence whatsoever. He then turned into one of the rooms about 10 feet ahead. We followed him, and when passing the side room he went into again, piled high with bed frames and whatnot, he was gone. Mm-hmm. I told my husband we had to get out of there. Just then, my camera crashed to the floor. The camera came apart from the strap. I've owned this camera for over 8 years. Never before and never since has the camera come off the strap. I think back now, and I think that what set off alarms was the lack of air movement as he walked by, and no acknowledgement that we were even there. I truly believe we saw a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep, you did.
Ugh. Okay. I work on the Hornet. for the Live Aboard program. And part of the program involves telling ghost stories in the forecastle. Every now and then, one of the other crew members decides to put on a sailor's uniform and scare the kids. I used to see... I mean, if you're going to do it and you're stuck with all these kids, you might as well have fun with them.
I guess.
I'm used to seeing him, but one night as he walked out of the bullnose, I saw another man in a sailor suit behind him. He was there for a split second and then vanished. Later in the month, on a different Live Aboard, I saw the same man on the catwalk once again, and he vanished into thin air.
It's not so fun to scare people.
I love it. Okay. I was on a Girl Scout junior crew member. I was on the Girl Scout junior crew member sleepover along with Rebecca. Obviously, we all know Rebecca. Her mom Rebecca. And my mom. I mean, we've been friends forever. You know her.
I mean,
that one time when we went to the beach, how funny was that? Fucking Rebecca.
We know them.
I mean, obviously. I thought it would be normal. I was wrong. I had just turned out my reading light. I will tell you now, I was on the third bunk and nobody was sleeping under me. Rebecca was sleeping beside me, but no one was under me. Back to the story. The light was off and I tried to go to sleep. I felt 3 pushes below me, like I was being woken up. So I got up. I looked around. I saw a white light in the corner and saw 2 sailor ghosts. One said to the other, quote, "Watch that one," and pointed at me. First, I pinched myself. It hurt. Unfortunately, I was the only one awake, so nobody else saw.
That gave me the chills.
I don't like it. Okay. I was on the junior crew sleepover on April 7th and 8th, but I was in a Girl Scout troop. My friend Becca, I wonder if they know the other Becca. Anyway.
I mean, maybe they're the same person.
Maybe. My friend Becca and I, imagine if the first Rebecca was like sleeping next to this girl and is like, I don't like this girl. But like her other friend Becca had to sleep in a different one and she's like, oh, I wish I could be by her. And they're like both telling different ghost stories and Becca just slept through all of it. Like she woke up the next day and was like, what did I miss? And they're like, fucking bitch, you missed everything. You missed all the things. Anyway, okay. I was on the junior crew sleepover on April 7th and 8th, but I was in a Girl Scout troop. My friend Becca and I were coming out of the doorway closest to the kitchen when we heard somebody scream, help. We looked around, but no one was there. And if you don't believe me, ask Bob Fowler and ask about a girl with a really big pillow. He was with us and he heard it. That night, at Ghost Stories, my troop and I saw someone in our cabin. He was the man in khakis, and he was in our cabin. We threw a deck of cards. Yeah, I know, it's dumb. The cards went right through him, and then Bob came in and told us lights out. When we turned the lights out, 5 minutes later, our reading lamps all went out as well. Michelle.
Michelle's not a very good storyteller.
Yeah.
But you know what? I got what she was talking about. She saw a ghost. She heard a scream. I get it.
We threw the cards at him. Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, no, I get it. I just was like, if you don't believe me, ask this guy. I'm like, I don't
know this guy. Who's this guy? Does he know Becca?
I don't know this guy.
Are they all friends? Are we all friends?
Are they all friends?
Like, does he know Becca and Becca's mom and this other chick and her mom?
But you know what? We got the story. It wasn't as creepy as the other one.
No, I should have switch those around. When I read it last night, it was a lot scarier. I won't lie to you. I was like, oh my god, we need to throw a deck of cards. And now I'm like reading. I'm like, that didn't work out well. All right.
You looked confused. You're like, I don't.
Last night, this one kind of freaked me out. That's why I left it last. But anyway, okay. So there's a docent. His name is Bill Fee, and he has a story, or he has a theory about these ghosts. So none of our spirits here are evil, he says. They're all heroes. Some of the spirits that are here died on the ship, and some of the spirits that we have passed away, not during war or battle, just of old age. The Hornet, he says, is a safe haven for them, and they're still here on our ship.
Oh, that's a nice thought.
That's a really nice thought. figured I'd finish with in case, you know, you were a little nervous about all the ghosts that hang out on this ship. But
or also if we were a little underwhelmed by Michelle's story. Sorry,
Michelle. Sorry. I tell you, when I read it last night, I was really freaking out. I was like, oh my God.
I get it, and it's a freaky story, but I'm like, the same thing, I was just like, oh, that's okay.
I don't know. But
you know what?
yeah.
I got it.
So that's
cool.
Not a ghost ship, but a ship with ghosts. You can go visit it. It's in Alameda, California. And if you want to read more of the stories about this ship, like I said, Caltech has a whole website, and
that's so
just
cool.
People submit their stories. So feel free to go peruse that and maybe find a better story than Michelle's, because that one, although creepy, was not written well, and I did not read it well either. The end.
It's you know what though? Well, because it's confusing. Now, what I have learned.
Yes, what have you learned?
Well, I liked your last bit where it was like they're just there, they're heroes, they're happy, this is where they feel safe, and that's great.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. A lot of times I've heard, because you know I'm not an expert, and I will tell you a million times that I'm not an expert, but I've heard that like when people pass away, like they'll go back to where like the happiest time of their life was, or the most traumatic, like the biggest feelings. Nice. So I mean,
and that's great. They're not evil ghosts. They're scary, but they're not
I don't know
evil.
about that one Japanese guy who went crazy. I bet you he's not really fun to have a run-in with, but
probably not.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to run into him. But I'm sure everybody else is just a peach. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what did I learn? I learned that some people are stupid enough to think that 5 miles an hour of wind can knock their petite wife overboard. And
you know what? This is 3 stories to explain a situation.
My final thought is more of a PSA than what I learned. Don't go running at 3 a.m.
Yeah, seriously,
don't go running at 4 a.m.
Anything away from that story.
Just don't fucking run. And if you have to run, I have an elliptical. Come buy it from me. You can have it. Like, it's fine. And then do it in your basement, where you can't get blown off of a cruise ship or get murdered or have to worry about keeping your headphones in and some guy coming up behind you. Like, if you just run at your house, you can't get abducted. And that's one less thing. And it sucks that we have to think that way, because I should be able to run naked down the street if I want to. But we don't live in a world that allows that. So
we don't.
Do with that information as you see fit. Yeah. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for our 50th episode. Cruising on the high seas, so fun. Maybe that's what we'll name this, Cruising on the High Seas. I kind of like that.
I thought that's what it was called.
That could be what it's called. I don't remember. I mean, I couldn't even remember where I put our graveyard chats list of things we're going to talk about. So I am not the human to discuss. We're just going to go past it. I am like so professional here. Yes. Anyway,
you know us. You've been here for 50 episodes. You know what the deal is.
You know what you're getting.
We don't know.
I'm almost there. We're almost there.
But it's fine.
It's fun. So fun. Okay, so make sure you're following all of our social media so you know when new stuff is coming out. If you want more content of this craziness where we talk about craziness, we have a whole bunch of episodes on Patreon, plus bloopers, plus graveyard chats, plus other shit that we put over there, because we do like random interviews and other things that we think of that we think are funny and we hope you think are funny. But you can go over there on Patreon. You can access our Patreon by going to www.deathbeforebooze.com and click on the Patreon button. While you're over there, make sure you go and check out like our, what is that, merch? Our merch store. You just click the merch button. You can find all of our t-shirts and our cups and our stickers and all our other good stuff. And make sure that you check out our blog if you want to see any pictures of anything, or check our sources, because we did a whole big thing on Graveyard Chats about, what is that called? Plagiarism. And I do not plagiarize. I give credit.
Nope.
Copy paste your face, kids. Other than that, thank you so much, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Love you.
Stay spooky, guys. Love you.